Your typical podcast.
Thank you for listening to Your Typical Podcast. We weren't sure if we're going to be back for a midweek update, but we are because there's so much happening and we want to talk about it. So me and Pete are here to just give you the update. Week 2, we're kicking.
Yeah, we're kind of really jumping into the game officially. We have our second set of final nominees, so it feels like the game is really kind of getting into flow.
Do you want to update everyone? I think we last left off on Devens winning the HOH. We assumed who he was going to nominate, but we have concrete evidence.
Yeah, so Devens officially nominates Jason, Lyric, and Melody for eviction, and it is an insane nomination ceremony. Jason kind of immediately calls out Angela while she's wearing the egg costume. Angela kind of flips out. The egg top falls off of her head, and she starts to lose it at Jason, which is really great. Rome starts fighting with Haley. Just absolute insanity in the Big Brother house.
I didn't really expect this to happen. I mean, it was so funny to me because the last thing I said in our last episode that I think Jason he could go two ways. Like, I think he's been talking too much. So I think he needs to go over the top, like to the point where the target just kind of circles around him. And we've seen it happen like multiple times, like a Tucker, someone who like the targets become so big on them that it kind of like shifts because they're the obvious vote to get out. And I don't know if Jason necessarily accomplished that, but I was proud to see that he like owned all the things he said. He wasn't like, "You're a liar." He's like, "Yep, I lied. Yep, I'm a messy bitch. That's me." Which I think hopefully everyone could appreciate.
Yeah. It was nice that he was actually able to own up to where he kind of misstepped, starting the game, so quickly doing. So nice to see that he actually is willing to own up to some of his bad plays, which I think could be helpful for him down the road. We'll see, as we continue to jump into this live feed update.
I want to chat with you about, so it seems like a lot of this, like, because this nomination ceremony, number one, they robbed us of showing us because, like, why? It only shows the beginning. Like, we don't want to wait till Wednesday. Just give it to us all. But it seems like this all stemmed around Rome going to Devens to have a conversation about, which I think, like, in a way, maybe it was too audacious of Rome because basically he gave Devens a list of, like, this is who I'm working with. I don't want you to nominate them. And Devens asked him to whittle down the list. So Rome was like, okay, fine. Just don't nominate me, Lyric, and Jason. Anyone else is up for grabs. So Devens uses that against Rome and nominates Jason and Lyric just because Rome said she shouldn't nominate them. And also calls him out for kind of feeding Lala to the wolves of like, but you can have Lala, you can have Melody. Do you think, well, from both sides, do you think this is a good move on Rick's part? Or do you think Rome really fucked up here and just giving too much information? Or both?
Yeah, I don't know why Rome is really divulging this information so freely. I mean, I guess it makes sense to, let the head of household know where you're at so they feel more comfortable around you, get all the information out. But also it just puts you in such a bad position once the head of household does use that information against you, which I thought he had an idea that he was going to be a target this week. So a little bit of a confusing decision there, I think, in my opinion, from Rome to tell Devens he's feeling closest to and who he isn't feeling closest to. It kind of also gives Devens the opportunity to just blame shift the nominations.
Yeah.
Donnie, how are you feeling about it?
I think it was very silly of Rome to do that. I think he basically fed right into what Devens wanted from him. Like, the HOH always is going to want. I think he would have been better of giving who you want me to put on the block versus who you don't want me to put on the block. Because I think there's a little more wiggle room in, like, if Rome said, I want you to put Kamu, Haley, and Chuk on the block, like, sure, Devens would be like, I'm not doing that. But he couldn't go back and be like, Rome wants you on the block because they already know that. So I think Rome was just like too forthcoming with information that he didn't necessarily even have to share. Like Lyric is an obvious connection to him. I don't think he has to like tell people that he doesn't want her on the block.
Yeah.
And truthfully, like I think something that Lyric and Jason over this. So I guess we should say this is all live feed updates. So if you don't want to listen, get out. But something Lyric and Jason have come around to is like perhaps if Rome didn't say their name, they wouldn't be in danger of going home this week at all. Which I don't know necessarily think that is true because I think Devens could have potentially did the exact same thing. But I think it's so early in the game that we have someone to blame. Like, damn, like if I get voted off this week, Rome, it's your fault. You said my name. You're exactly the reason why Devin said he put me up. And I think it was just kind of short-sighted for Rome.
Definitely short-sighted. It's also just, it's a crazy second week nomination. It is very much drawing a line in the sand. Pretty bold move by Devens to make these nominations.
I agree. Do you think, I mean, we talked about it the last episode too, but now that we know more of Devens' plan, kind of what has transpired, like with, you know, Devens won the veto as well. I just can't help but think, so for instance, like something that I noticed about the veto, and I can't remember if this was on the episode or, well, it must have been on the live feeds, where Devens was talking to Bear and it was like, wow, no matter who wins the veto is going to be used. Great.
Yeah.
All 6 people are going to use the veto. It doesn't really make sense to me that Devens won the veto. Like, if I was him, I wouldn't have won the veto. Number one, because I just think, I mean, so if Rome stays this week, it's very clear that that was Devens' plan all along to backdoor Rome. Versus, sorry, Rome, I didn't expect anyone to come off the block. Now I have to nominate you. Like, I think that's like a piece in his game that he could use. But number two, I just think like, what, there's been 4 challenges and you won 2 of them. Like, I just think it's way too early to be winning when you don't have to win. And like, I think a veto when you're the HOH, you know that it's going to be used and you have a plan for if whoever comes off that this person is going to come up. And truthfully, kind of a win-win-win scenario that like if Jason got off the block, you can ensure that Lyric or Rome were going home. If Melody got off the block, you can have all 3 of your targets on the block together. And it just seemed like, I don't know, ill-advised for Devens. And then like, you know, a lot of people wanted him to take off Melody or take off Lyric. And like it was going back and forth pretty much this whole time. And I feel like he kind of made the wrong decision. Like between the 3 of them taking Lyric off the block instead of Melody feels like a huge fault to me. And I'm like, I just don't understand what you're doing, Devens.
It's very reminiscent of Survivor Edge of Extinction, his first time he played, where he likes to win. He loves to win challenges. He won back into the game in Edge of Extinction when he was first voted out. He won a couple of immunity challenges. He's a competitive guy, and I do think it's a little bit too early to be winning all these competitions. Looking back at the history of the game so far, yeah, he's won a lot of the powerful competitions, and people are going to notice that really quickly.
Yeah, and then just for you're already a target, I think it's very clear to everyone. Like, I mean, no, everyone's saying what they're kissing Devens' ass right now. They're saying what he wants to hear. I don't necessarily think a lot of it is even true of like, I can promise you safety for 3 weeks. Yeah, right. Like, as soon as I get the opportunity, Devens will be going up 100%. Whether he like stayed or not. And to be honest, like if I was wrong, I'd be like, you gave me a backdoor, I'm going to give you a backdoor. So we're even. And then number 2 is just like, Devens is already a big target. I don't know. I just can't help but think he's playing this HOH all wrong. And I understand that like he wants to get a big target out, but it's like he's doing almost everything all at once. And I'm like, I think you need to be a little more subtle. It's a long game. Like literally, like it's day 13 and is what, 74 days left or whatever the math is. I can't think right now. But there's just a lot of days left for you to play this long game, and you have already kind of isolated half of the people in the house who, again, like the difference with Survivor and Big Brother is you can't win every week. Like, you're not going to be safe every single week. And I think going as far as like, okay, Devens could have even been like, you know what? I won the veto. Let me just keep my nominations at 3. I got way too much blood on my hands already. It's just like it seems like he went the extra mile to kind of cause manic chaos. And to be honest, I think Angela is benefiting more than he is.
Yeah, absolutely. She can come back from this week and say, I was a big architect behind a lot of this.
I mean, Jason called it out at the nomination ceremony, but he's like, Angela, it's like you're the HOH. And she's like, no, it's not. It's not my H. What did she say? bitch, please. But it's true. Like, Devens had this whole plan of targeting Melody, and all of it kind of flipped the script to targeting Rome. And I think this week will suck whoever goes home for sure, just for the game. Because I think Melody, Jason, and Rome are 3 people who I would like to stick around for the season. Mostly because Jason and Rome are on my draft team. It's not looking good for one. I do think one of them are going to get voted out this week. Unfortunately. And yeah.
Your team is not looking too hot.
It's okay. We're going to come back.
Just this week.
Just this week. I mean, it happens. It happens. So I kind of like wrote down that I think for the nominations, if it's Jason versus Rome, basically Rome is going to go home unless he wins a blockbuster, I think. But I think Jason also should definitely win the blockbuster if he wants to stay, because I don't think it's clear that he's going to stay. Like, I think it'll be a little up in the air. And with Lyric being off the block, that's another vote for Rome. And like, they have this whole ploy to, we could talk about it in a bit, but like the fake breakup, like to make people think they're distant. So it's like so crazy to me because I'm like, damn, like I almost was like, well, if Jason won the veto, then sure you put Roma, but Roma and Jason could survive this week. And it's like, I think that's like unlikely that both of them come out. So I wanted to also talk about Lyric, who I think has been a really interesting player to watch this week because she used like an interesting strategy to me. Like so her and Rome came up with this idea that they're going to pretend like they're done. Like, we're not seeing each other anymore. I can't believe Rome would do this to me and put me in harm's way. I want to play my own game. And it actually seems mutually beneficial for Lyric in both ways. Like, one, distancing herself from Rome if he stays, but also distancing herself from Rome if he goes. Like, she has new life in the game, basically. But number 2, like her flirting and like she really like is going hard to like distance herself from Roman. I've been kind of impressed by her. I wonder what are you thinking about just her? She just really went pedal to the metal this weekend.
Yeah, her distancing strategy seems to be working really well. Yeah, she's getting in really well with a lot of the other guys that she wasn't able to connect with as much because she was spending so much time with Rome. It helps Rome's game because people feel like they're not as much of a duo anymore. She is able to legitimately make more connections when, Rome actually gets eliminated. So yeah, to what you were saying, I think it's really good for her. It's definitely a bold strategy, and I don't know how much the rest of the house believes it, but
yeah,
it's really, really fun to watch unfold.
I
They
think
are
it will be
so
great for her
into
if
each
he
other.
leaves.
Yeah.
If he leaves, it'll be great for her. I think it'll be great. But if he doesn't, it's gonna be horrible for her. They're gonna target them both again. So,
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of targets number one for that side of the house, the tool shed, that 8-person alliance together. Pretty much looks like they're going to be fighting towards getting rid of Rome at any cost at this point. Seems like he's really burned all bridges of trying to be able to play the game with them.
I agree with that. But also on the flip side, I do think Jason has made some strides into that if he can survive this week and just like be quiet, he can like coast a little bit. He still wants to go for HOH or whatever, which I guess maybe. I don't know. It's always one of those things where I'm like, I guess if my back was against the wall and someone put me up and I would probably go home if I was like there on the block, I guess I probably will want my lick back for sure. But I just think like I don't even know if the right path for Jason is to just lay low, like make connections. And I think I've been really impressed with like him and Angela, for instance, like kind of being like, okay, we can maybe work together. And Jason kind of mending fences with Lala as well. Lala was feeling a little left out because Rome was feeding her to the wolves, but really had nothing to do with Jason. So seems like Kim and Lala have a good working relationship. And I mean, I guess I'm a little biased. I kind of prefer Jason to stay because I do think Jason has a little more life left in the game if he can just survive this 1 week. And also that usually is all it takes. Like I think we've seen it in past seasons where you survive one vote and you can sh- reach a stride in the game. Like Ashley Hollis, for instance, like she would have went home if she was on the block on the first week and she wasn't. Therefore, she was able to kind of keep going. I mean, I think Mickey back to last season, like Mickey would have went home if she didn't win a blockbuster, but she did. Tucker, as many times as he won. Keanu, like there's so many people that like I think that's why the blockbuster is so interesting because it really does like kind of give people longevity in the game. So I'm hopeful for Jason. That's who I'm rooting for. But like I said, I'm biased too. I am. I love me some Selena. I can't deal with Selena going home second. It would be so sad to me.
His diary room crying because he was not selected for America's Favorite was hard to watch. That was tough. I was like, wow, dude, come on. You're playing with someone that's been on Big Brother. You gotta know. You've been through this before. But
Yeah.
I'm still cheering him on, even though it seems like he is throwing a little bit of a tantrum over not being picked to be the first America's Favorite.
I don't know why he would expect to be the first. Like I could see him being in the running, but like the first just feels unreasonable. When you sit next to Angela, like of course you're gonna be first.
If your celebrity dumb is supposed to be a secret, of course you're not going to be the first person to win.
Yeah.
You're not openly advertising that you're Selena's titties, you know? So
Do you think if she came clean about who she was, would that change anything for her?
no, but I think that just kind of shows the level of reality TV star she's kind of at this in this game.
hmm I agree with that. I mean, like, I was looking at things where people were like, "Why wasn't Selena announced with all the other reality TV icons?" And someone was like, "Well, Selena probably applied to be on the show." Versus like D Devens and Angela didn't apply. Obviously, I mean, Angela probably applied the first time, but not the second time. And I agree with that. I think when you look at other franchises of Big Brother, a lot of drag queens who have been on the show before were on Celebrity Big Brother. Like they were on a different brand. So Selena is kind of in uncharted territory a little bit. I also don't think a lot of Drag Race fans watch Big Brother. And I
Yeah.
think if it was someone different, they might bring a bigger audience to the show. But I don't know if Selena is pulling in like a big audience to overtake like the Big Brother audience. Like I'm sure she got a bunch of votes. Like I wish we could see like the ranking. I'm sure she's in the top half, if not even higher than that, and like vote getters because as we even read the other day, like Selena has more followers than like everyone in the house besides Lyric. So I do think that Selena has the ability, and I think if she can stay, another reason why she should kind of hold out was that like once D Devens and Angela are picked, they can't be picked anymore, which leaves room for her to get picked. So I'm hoping like she understands that, and Julie kind of explained that well, and like chill, it's okay, you didn't get picked, of course not, but like also it kind of makes people targets when I mean to me like Angela getting a punishment tells me that America likes Angela. If there's anything else that America has any effect on, they might vote for her again. I would need her to be gone. Like, even if it's America's favorite player, like, I guess they could still vote her that. But, like, like, I wouldn't want her there.
Or in reverse, now they know the next 5 weeks Angela won't be picked for the power, and they know she got a disadvantage.
Yeah. And, there's still advantages on the table.
scenarios, as Jose would say.
I did want to ask because I think
Mhm.
it's getting more and more prevalent that like with D kind of being handed the first HOH. I won't say handed, but like it was between three people. D
Yeah.
got first HOH, and then Devens being second HOH, and then winning veto, and then Angela getting the first, America's vote for the power. Do you think that the show is kind of putting the newbies in like an impossible position? Because how the game starts is usually set up for how the season is going to be structured. And I mean, not saying that Devens did anything to get HOH the second time, but I just feel like everyone else is kind of playing an uphill battle against the three of them right now.
Yeah. I think it's pretty crazy that of the 4 major competitions, 3 of them have been won by the alumni. It's, I think, going to prove poor for them in the long run. I think that all of the newbies are going to realize that these veterans are just really, really good at winning these competitions, or just, really, really starting hot out of the gate. And I think they're going to be early targets. I would expect, one of these 3 reality TV icons to be going in the next few weeks, as long as one of them is not head of household every single week.
Yeah.
We could be
That would be
down that
wild.
road. We could be going down that
Yeah.
road of D winning next or Angela winning next. But I don't think that that's the case. I think that these newbies are going to, the longer that they're not in power, the longer that they're the more likely they're going to band together to take out these reality TV legends, I personally think. How are you feeling about the situation?
I do think it's a little discouraging to watch just because I don't know. I feel like we want to root for the newbies. Like I feel like coming on a Big Brother season, you want to root for the people who you don't get to know. And it's like I don't even think I'm getting to even know them well. Like I
Yeah.
really do feel like the season is kind of being dominated by Devens, Angela, and D. And then I guess because we know Jason, like we're getting a lot of screen time from Jason and Brome. But like I forgot Taylor was there. I'm like, oh yeah, or like Yash
Chuk
not
who?
on the block. Yeah, like
Yeah.
even the people in this power structure, like we're not even getting like a lot of time with like Chuk. Yeah, barely any screen time at all. It's not necessarily bad to get bad screen time, especially at the beginning of the season, but like it just make me wish like, oh, like what could have happened if we just did not have these 3 kind of really dominant personalities, TV personalities, competition personalities, all in the house at the same time, and getting upset that people are saying their names. Like, of course they're saying your names. Like, that
Yeah.
makes so much sense. I don't even know how they can get people to rally behind, like, Jason said our name, so Jason has to go. I would be like, actually, Jason, I'm here with you. Like, I see you, I see what you're doing. I agree, actually. And it's just, like I said, just a little discouraging. I don't hate it. I really like D. I really like Angela. I really like Devens. But I don't know. I like in my Big Brother winners, and I also feel this about Survivor winners. Like I need to see you survive a vote, or like
Yeah.
survive some opposition, or
Yeah.
if like this season is shaping up to be like, well, D and Angela and Devens were never even eligible to be voted out of the game. That would suck. And I'm like, no, like let's see you like Devens. Sure, you're great in power on top of as an HOH. Let's see you how you do on the block. Like that is a big thing to be in the Big Brother house and be one of the 3 people who are probably gonna go home the following in 7 days and you're like, fuck, like what can I do? Being backdoor, like that's another thing where it's like you're taking the opportunity away to win the veto. Luckily you have the blockbuster, but could be anything. And it's always short. So like could be a crapshoot kind of, and it's usually kind of is a little bit. So I don't know. I almost want to find someone new to root for, and it's hard because everything is being dominated by people I already know.
Yeah. It's like, let me find some new people to really like cheer on this season, of like great new strategists or great new players. But the only people to celebrate right now are Rick and D, which is cool. That's fun. But I'm kind of getting ready to root against them.
I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I found myself this week like I was kind of rooting for Team Rome. I never thought I'd get there. But I was like, actually, it would be really bomb if like Rome's side could come on top. I've come around where I'm like, actually, I do want Rome to go here. I just like with the whole situation with Haley and I don't even necessarily think he was 100% in the wrong, but I'm like, I just think like there's one thing for Jason and Angela to like be bantering back and forth and it's fun, but Rome and Haley just felt bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not something that I want to watch on TV where like
Yeah,
this
that
man
was
like
rough.
calling a woman a bitch and
Yeah.
then like basically like I don't want to say it was almost a physical altercation, but it looked like that. And I assume that's why they did not show us completely what was happening. So we did not see what was happening. But I heard like someone got up in the middle. I think it was Chuk between like Haley and Rome. And
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
got in the middle.
this is a little too much. Like I get it. I again like Jason and Angela's banter was fun. Like even though the word bitch was used, it was fun. I very much enjoyed it. I also could tell that Angela enjoyed it as well, and Jason enjoyed it. And with Roman, Chuck, and Haley, I'm like, that's gotta be awkward. So even though I don't necessarily find myself rooting for Haley at all, I don't know what it is. I just
She's like
can't.
fun opposition. Like I am excited to see her downfall. It'll be really great to watch. The house doesn't really like her, so it just seems like her comeuppance is gonna be good. People
Uh-huh.
talk about her so negatively all the time, even within her own alliances.
Do you think that this week would have been different? I guess something we did not say was that Haley accidentally lost the HOH, but it was actually
Yeah.
meant for her to be the HOH. Do you think this week would have been different if Haley was HOH and not Devens?
Haley as HOH this week, I feel like is probably Angela and Devens and Dee's attempt at burying her game so that the next week Haley is the number one target. I would assume that that's what would be happening. So I think that this is actually probably better for Haley's game. She probably is in a safer spot, being able to take all the heat off of her.
Yeah.
So good on her for accidentally losing something that she should have won.
No, I agree with that. I guess I could see the nominations being a little different, truthfully. I
Yeah,
definitely think
definitely.
Rome would have been there, but I actually don't think Jason would have. I don't think Jason, like, to me, Jason saying he wanted to go after the vets probably is not a threat to Haley. Like,
No.
sure. Like, so I don't think he would have been there. And they don't seem like they have beef. Like, they don't really talk, but they're just kind of indifferent. I can see Haley going after some of the girls. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like that's where she has most of her issues with. So I can see like a Taylor, a Mallory, a Melody, a Lyric, like the three girls, all three of them. I could see her just going after them initially, which would have just I do think would have been a better week. This week just feels like so chaotic, but like not really chaotic. Like it started chaotic, now it's kind of reached like a level playing field. Like I don't really think anything drastic is gonna happen where Melody goes home on Thursday. I really don't see it in any circumstance. It will be crazy to
Yeah.
see, and please prove me wrong. But I do think Haley's week could have provided us a little more like up in the air of like, okay, let's strategize, let's get the numbers. Who is gonna go home this week? Who knows? So I kind of wish we got that. I want a newbie HOH. I want a newbie HOH. That's what I think I need next
It'll
week.
shake up the house. Hoping and praying for it on Thursday.
Fingers crossed. So I kind of did a new power ranking for this
Yes.
week. It's kind of pretty different. I can share my screen, but I kind of like put together like some reasoning why for each person. Okay. All right. So some people have moved up, some people have moved down. I think it'd actually be fun to start from the bottom this week. I think it's more clear than the top. And then let me know if you agree and if you think we should tweak anyone. So at the bottom, I do think it is Rome. So it's funny because I think Jason and Rome are kind of like two peas in a pod, obviously, in the danger pod. But I do think, like we said, like if Rome is sitting on the block, he is going home. So I do think that's like the worst position that you could possibly be in. That like if you are sitting there on eviction night, you will be getting voted out the game. So not really great for Rome. He dropped about 10 spots from where we had him last week. And I it's just so funny because I do think he was in such a good position. He was running his side of the house, but I also think, and I can think you said it too. Once when you're running your side, that comes with its own consequences.
Yeah, Rome. I mean, he kind of he blew it up a little bit himself, but he was in that perfect alliance leader spot. But unfortunately, the cards didn't fall his way, and he was not able to really play out of the opposition. Having the HOH and kind of made himself the biggest target.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then 15, we have Jason. I think this also is obvious. Like, had this really big public blow up, and honestly, his game basically got blown up in front of everyone in the house. But I will say, not as bad as Rome, because I do think Jason survives next to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Jason is gonna have to really edit his strategy if he wants to like actually be like a serious contender to last for the whole season. Like he's playing kind of like Devens, but in the opposite way, like too hard, too fast. You're throwing out names when you don't have to, you're not in power, they're
Mm-hmm.
not eligible to get voted out. There's no need to share information like that. Again, you can share it to America, like we're watching, but you don't have to share it to people in the house because things get around. But I also want to give Jason props for like, if he does survive this week, he's doing some groundwork to make new relationships, which I do think he's gonna need new relationships to actually get through the game.
Yeah, Jason is in a really tough spot right now. Hopefully, he's able to beat Rome in the blockbuster. Seems like that's really the decider for the two of them. Is whoever wins that blockbuster will be moving on into the game. But hopefully, he's able to really start to salvage some of these relationships and campaign the rest of this week. Stay in the house.
There's so many people who have like a fall on their face moment who are able to recoup, and I hope that
Yeah,
Jason is one of them. I hope.
absolutely.
You just gotta survive. You just gotta survive.
There's a
So
lot of game
that's
left.
so much game left. All right, so then we get into the orange category, which is the fair position. Not good, not bad, just kind of like indifferent. I feel like this is kind of the orange zone. So at the bottom of this, I actually like surprisingly have Mallory. Mostly because Mallory just, I don't know what it is about her. She is one of the people that I feel like people just aren't connecting with across the board. So like I think that Mallory got lucky that Devens didn't want to nominate people who had already been nominated. But Mallory to me is gonna be the easy nomination unless she wins. Every time. Because that's kind of the way people talk about her.
Yeah, the Pipe Queen seems like someone that can always be thrown up. Kind of always has that outsider type appeal of being someone that the rest of the house will be pretty much okay with being on the block. But I will say what I think the Pipe Queen has going for her is that it seems like she is pretty persuasive. She can, especially in the last couple of days on fees, I've just heard her say things or, make comments to the rest of the house guests that I think are getting especially the other newbies to start thinking about the game a little bit differently, kind of trying to rally some of the newbies towards an alliance with her and some of the other girls to move the game forward. So I think that she's trying to build from here, but she's just so far at the bottom of the house right now.
Yeah. Which maybe is not a bad place for her. I think you
Mm-hmm.
can build up from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And also like people see her as almost like a pawn, therefore like she might actually stick around and like just keep being that person. I honestly I think the best strategy, especially where you're outside the majority, is pulling together all the people who are outside the majority. Because I don't think the numbers are too far off and they're not too far gone to like actually have some like, and also with this season, like 3 nominations, like just one of them winning HOH, one of the 3 people are automatically gonna go home that week. So like
Yep.
it's not too far off. So I think Mallory she could come back. Next, Lyric. Lyric moved down to not really
Mhm.
super, super bad. I do think she would have been lower if she had still been on the block. But I do think she pulled off, like we said, like pretty good moves this week by convincing Devens to take her down off the block. I think
Yeah.
truthfully, like the fact that like Devens was actually going against some of his allies to do this, and now that Lyric, I don't know, it just doesn't really make sense to me that he took Lyric off the block. And because she did a lot of work, and whether her flirting, whether it was her like really trashing Rome's game and like he ruined my game. I came here for money. I didn't come here for love. Like all of that, and he believed her enough to take her off the block. I feel like that's very good, and I think
Yeah.
well, obviously she's gonna stay one more week, but like it could lead to something better for her, especially if Rome goes home. I could see her even actually moving up, because she won't have that there, like that anchor.
Yeah, fantastic move for Lyric this week to get the veto used on her, distancing herself from Rome. She, I think, played a great game this week.
Next, we got Melody. Obviously, she's on the block, but she's not at the bottom because I don't actually see her going home in any scenario, at least this week. Melody, kind of, we had her at 12 last week too. I think it's a good place to be if you can get nominated, but not be the choice to go home in any circumstance. Even in the bad circumstance, I think she still stays safe. I will say the one thing about Melody that to note is that I think Angela and Dee are on to her and Drew's relationship, that they're really close allies, and it seemed like Drew was really pushing hard for Devens to use the veto on Melody because he wants to keep her around, and I think Angela clocked that. So I just think like Melody needs to be a little careful to not be like collateral damage and them wanting to keep Drew close to them and not her. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I like Melody. I'm excited to see her play more.
Yeah, this is one of my disagreements with you. I think that Lyric should be one above Melody. That's kind of why I waited to hold out on saying anything about Lyric. I think it's crazy that Melody didn't have the veto used on her. To not use it on Melody, who the tool shed were talking about possibly bringing in as an accessory person to their alliance, and instead use it on Lyric, who is the number one of their supposed target, I think is a bad move. And I think that is maybe credit to Lyric's game, maybe it's credit against Melody's game, but um, I think that that's really a bad omen for Melody. And they say the pawn always goes home. She really does seem fine. I don't really see her going against either Rome or Jason. They both seem like such bigger characters in this game, but not super happy with Melody's game this week.
I guess that's fair. Like I can see what you're saying, where like Lyric coming off is a clear vote for Rome if Melody sitting next to Rome. And to be honest, probably a clear vote for Jason as well if
Yeah.
Melody sitting next to Jason. So Melody, yeah, I get it. Like she was the obvious person to take off the block, and because that didn't happen, yeah, Lyric is kind of outplaying her in that way a little bit. Like the fact that she was able to get into Devens's head. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean also T and Angela also thought it should have been Lyric and not Melody too. So
Yeah.
good for both of them. Yeah, I can argue her being like still in this orange range, but a little
Mm-hmm.
lower.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Lala is at number 10 or 11 for me. I think that Lala's she's just there this week.
Yeah.
She almost got nominated this week if Devens had gone with his initial like, let me target Melody. I want Lala on the block because I don't really feel like people like Lala that much, which is actually surprising to me. And I don't think we're seeing the sides that people say they don't like. She seems maybe a little outspoken, which is probably not bad, but like, I guess in a house with other people might feel a little abrasive. I don't know. Mm. Yeah, I haven't even seen anything on the live feed that suggests that Lala is mean, but it seems like people are describing her that way. And like people like Angela and Dee have been like purposely trying to make Lala upset to get like a rise out of her. Lala is very big on cleanliness and Angela and Dia been purposely like leaving things messy just to like rile Lala up. But also, I will say that Angela tried to start a 4-person girls alliance with Lala as well. So
Mhm.
I don't know exactly where she stands with her, but Lala's not in a bad place.
A lot of crying this week from Lala, and I think that people had some issue with that, taking it so hard about the nominations, but not even being nominated, but having more of an emotional response than some of the other people. So I think that that's part of this, negative reaction too.
Hmm. Yeah, like sobbing. I
Yeah,
couldn't even hear because I'm like, what? And I
for like
honestly,
hours.
I kind of want to see the full like cut. I
Yeah.
don't even think I quite understand what she was crying for.
No,
I don't think anyone does. I'm
not
interested
at
to see
all.
how the
No.
show edits it. I saw her crying. Sure, Rome said her name. He actually didn't even say her name. He didn't say her name, which is why she should be thanking him because that's why she didn't get voted, like put on the block because he didn't say her name. But
Watching it happen in real time, it didn't make any sense. She just was
yeah,
crying, just sobbing.
and loud. Like I could hear Jason and Angela
Loudly. Yeah.
fighting and Lala crying. I'm like, what the hell? What is happening? So fun to go to the feeds. It's like, wait, Lala's crying. Jason and Angela are arguing. Haley and Rome are gonna fight. I
Big
don't know
Brother's
what's happening.
back.
Big Brother is back. All right, so then we get into our comfy position. I feel like you might disagree with me on this one too. I think so. Number 10, I have Barrett. Comfy nonetheless, and I did like debate putting him above Yash and Taylor. But I do think that they're like Mallory specifically feels like she is kind of clocking, and actually Rome, Lyric, Jason also kind of clocked that Barrett is kind of playing both sides.
Yeah.
And like whether he wants to
Yeah.
admit it or not, I feel like people are now talking that like Barrett, like literally, and it was honestly not smart. Angela literally woke Barrett out of his sleep, called him upstairs while people were sitting in the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
to go have this private conversation. I think with Barrett and Drew, we'll get to Drew later, but like it might come back to bite them, like having like this like obvious 8-person alliance, but also trying to be connected to everyone else on the house.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, he is trying to play the middle, obviously, between the both of the sides, and I think both sides are kind of recognizing that already. He will probably be okay in terms of people targeting others. He doesn't really stand as too big of a threat against either side right now, which I think is
Mhm.
why he's not really winning competitions or why we're seeing a lot of effort from him in comps. But I think that he'll be, in the game for a while. I just don't think people trust him. I think that the trust thing is going to be an issue.
Yeah, I have the same problem that I feel like Barrett has right now, where I feel like Barrett is just kind of like a yes man to everything. Like
Yeah.
everything is yes. And I think it's not necessarily bad. Like obviously you don't want to say no, but I also think like if you don't at least like within because I would like to think that Barrett is with this tool shed alliance,
Mhm.
but I could see that not actually being the case for him long term. But like
Yeah.
I don't even think he knows exactly which way he wants to go. Which I think he needs to clarify for himself because I think he can inform his game decisions to not like break trust with people because you're not if you have a clear idea of like what you want to do.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see him for a while, but I don't think he really has any power in this game.
Yeah. But also I also said, and I know we disagreed on the zones, comfy is probably good for me for the first 3 to 4 weeks. Like keep me
Mhm.
comfy. I don't want to be too high, too low. People on the top are gonna start getting picked off and you go up more the more people get picked off and then the bottom you go down. So I think he's still in a comfortable position.
Mhm.
Next, number 9, Taylor. I've been kind of really Taylor and Yash both kind of had the effect. I don't know if you remember season 26 where Chelsea and Cedric could not play in the HOH. The only two couldn't
Yes.
play. And they seemed like the obvious choices to get voted out first. And they were able to kind of like not.
Mhm.
I feel like Taylor and Yash are kind of taking that position for me where it's like this week their names have not been brought up. They actually have been kind of trying to be looped in for the most part with everything going on. Angela's approaching Taylor about an alliance. I think like yeah, and I put Yasha number 8 too. We'll get to him, but like I think
Mhm.
they've done a perfect job of just kind of staying out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they both recognize, like, they had a lot of, smoke blowing their way the first week just by being on the block, being able to take a step back and just work on building relationships, I think is a great way to play their second week. I think Taylor's doing it really well. It seems like she's integrating really well, making better alliances, getting closer to some of the people and being able to like really, you know, integrate some trust into her game now that she's not on the block and, actually her word means a little bit more.
Mhm. She's definitely benefiting from like all the chaos around her
Yes,
because
of
she can
course.
kind of just like relax and like even be the comforter to people like Lala and Jason, kind of being there for them, but also like is okay with whatever happens. Like if it's Jason, if it's Rome, if it's Melody, she's like, I'm good. So I see a new life for her in the game, which I'm
Mhm.
excited about for her. Then similar to Yash, I feel the exact same way. Um, it's so funny because I think Yash is obviously closer to Rome's side of the house, but I think Yash not being nominated has been able to play the middle a little bit. Like
Yeah.
Devin's just like, hey, what should I do? And Yash is like, hey, like if it has to be them, it has to be them. Like, go for it. Like, I understand. And I think he's doing the perfect job of he could easily try to push his agenda. You don't really have power. Sit back and shut up and just kind of let
Yeah.
things happen. And I think he's doing a good job of that as well.
Really great way to just kind of stay out of the crossfire. Totally just kind of go up to the HOH. I was watching him and Devens talk a couple days ago, and they were just kind of like laughing about the week and all of the events that had transpired. And I think that's a perfect spot for him to be in is to just kind of laugh with whoever's in the majority right now and kind of stay off that block as these two sides are going to start firing at each other.
Yeah, which is a huge thing to say because last week he could have potentially went home if he
Yeah.
had been sitting on the block next to Ashley. I don't even know if he would have or not. I think it was kind of up in the air, but I definitely think he had more of a chance
Yep.
than Taylor. So good for him. I'm happy because I actually like Yash. He's coming. I'm coming around to him.
He's moving up.
Moving up. Number 7, Chuk. I think Chuk, to be honest, might be in the most comfortable position in the entire house, in my opinion. I think, well, obviously he's right in the middle of the rankings, but I think just from a game perspective, in his alliance of the tool shed, like I do not think that anyone's gonna target him first out of Haley and Kambu. I think Haley and Kambu have been so outspoken and so like just big in the house that I truthfully
Yeah.
think that he actually might benefit from one of them going home because
Yeah.
it'd be like, great, woo, next. And then he's also in this big 8-person alliance, the Tool Shed, as a lot of these other people above him are. And I just don't really see him in the driver's seat, which I don't think is necessarily bad. I think he's able to like make really good connections with like Haley and Kamu, like be so close to Haley that stands up for her against Rome, but like still kind of keeps like a temperament with everyone. Like he seems very like, even though we don't really see him a lot, like like we said, it's a good thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
know where he is. He's in the bathroom cutting hair, probably. I want to say I like Chuk. I don't like I don't like who he's aligned with, but I like Chuk for his position in the house.
Chuck's in that great spot in a mega alliance where you want to be in a mega alliance, but you want to be one of those 4 people after 7 weeks in the game that are still standing from it because you're not one of the bigger threats in the alliance. You're just one of those loyal numbers that has stuck around, and now you can reform your game now that the jury has started. And it seems like that's where Chuck exactly is. He has a lot of bigger targets ahead of him, but he's a loyal number. He is socially integrated. He's really close with a lot of people on the other side of the house as well. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Mhm. and also not at the bottom of the alliance either, which I
Yeah.
think sometimes can happen with that person like Chuk. But the alliance is kind of split into 3 groups, like the icons, the red corner, and then Drew and Barrett. And I kind of think like, yeah, I think the vets will turn on each other quicker than the red corner will. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I think is a little bit more insulating. Keeps you a little bit
mhm.
safer.
All right, now we're moving on to our blue people. Got Haley at number 6. She went down 2, but she's doing fine.
Yeah.
I think she's in a strong position despite having this blow up with Rome. Like, I don't think it affected her in any way. Like, Haley seems like the name on everyone's lips.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in addition to like the other, like obviously like the Angelas and the Devens and the D's of the world. And I just think it's a good place for Haley to be. I I hate to say, but like I think she's adding a lot to the season, despite we heavily hating on her before the season actually started. Like I think she is adding that, like you said, opposition. Like you need that person to root against, essentially. And she might become that person. I don't know exactly. I think maybe Kamu might be that person even more than her. But I have no qualms with Haley at being number 6. I think it's a good place for her to be.
Yeah, she's not going anywhere this week, but next week could be totally different for her. She is a very polarizing player. People either love her or want her out right now. But yeah, she's really fun to watch. She's been so much better than her intro ever let on. Super happy about the Haley experience.
Mm-hmm. Put her on the challenge.
Yeah, she'll be there. Someone was
Right,
telling that to D. They were saying, D, get ready because she will be on the challenge with you in the future.
right next to her buddy Kamu.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both going to be on the challenge. That is so true.
Kamu is at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally struggling to like Kamu that much. I think he he just says things that I don't necessarily like. Like I'm sure you've seen the clip about like
Yeah.
just him being a little homophobic and
Yeah.
like saying like Drew, he didn't like that Drew was wearing Mallory's pajamas and that
Yeah.
Selena don't bring that drag shit around me, or like Jason don't bring that drag, like stuff like that. Where I'm like, I don't know if it's necessarily cause for.
Just doesn't need to be said.
I like to take it as maybe like a flippant comment that he's forgetting that he's being filmed 24/7, but it does like make me like raise an eyebrow to Kamu because like other than that, like Kamu feels like a chill guy, like
Yeah.
really just kind of like level headed. He doesn't seem like he's going too crazy. I kind of like the conversations that he seems like he's having with people and really kind of analyzing everyone in the house. He's one of the people who has his eyes on Mallory because he's like, no, this girl is like smart. Like, look at her. Like, I can tell. Like, she's gonna come and like run the game if we don't get her out too soon. And I kind of like his insights on the game, but I don't love him as a person.
Yeah, he seems like a dickwad. Sucks that we have him on the show because I guarantee you that this will not be the end of him complaining.
Uh-huh. It's probably gonna get worse.
Yep. So hopefully he goes soon. But yeah, he's really well insulated. The red corner loves him. The vets love him. The vets know that people will go for him before they go for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
think that might be a big part of, why the vets are aligning with the Kamu and Haley in the game.
that
People
makes
that are
sense. Yeah, like the people who
just
look
so
like they're
grady.
threatening. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we got Drew, number 4, still pretty high in the ranking. I think it was number 3 last time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Drew is probably shaping up to be one of the most strategic people in the house for me. Like, I
Yeah.
think like all the conversation he's having, he's like making plans beyond the plans and plans. Like the fact that he's been able to get really close to Melody, and like people are clocking it, but the fact of the matter is, Drew is still getting what he wants. Like, sure, Melody didn't get used the veto, but Melody's not going home under any
Nope.
circumstance. I think that's perfect for Drew because he not only has the 8 and the tool shed, he has Melody. It seems like he has a good relationship with Jason. He has a good
Mhm.
relationship with the girls, Lala, Taylor. Like he just seems like kind of intertwined with everyone. And I think because he just looks so unassumingly, or he just looks cute and fun to be around. And I don't think anyone's seeing him as a threat, which I think is gonna really bode well. Like I think people generally like him. So I like Drew, number 4.
Yeah, what's not to like? I'm hearing a lot of Dr. Will comparisons on Twitter, which I think are funny. 'Cause and not Dr. Will, Dan Giesling
Mhm.
comparisons,
Well, then they
which
say
he
a
kinda
baby
looks like a
between
young
Dr.
Dan.
Will. They said
Yeah,
baby between Dr. Will and Dan.
which I see it a little bit, maybe like a younger version, but definitely excited to see Drew continue to play. I'm hoping that he is able to live up to this, strategist nicknames that he's getting and, be one of the next big players, but still far way out from that, but yeah, definitely like
Mhm.
where he's at in the game, having some alliances outside of the big core alliance, but worried about, how people are definitely starting to point out how well connected he is.
Yeah, I think once people do sniff out like exactly what Drew is playing, I think he can easily combat that by like actually like, you know, putting himself in a position where he's making the decision. Like, okay,
Mhm.
you got me, but now I'm the HOH. Now I can do whatever I want. So I'm hoping he does that. I don't see him winning a power or anything, so we're just gonna have to do it the old fashioned way. But I think he can
Mhm.
do it. All right. And then we get to our people in the green, our driver's seat people. Crazily enough, it is all 3 icons that came back for the season. I moved D down from number 1 to number 3 simply because like we just haven't really heard much from her this week. Like she's kind of
Yeah,
been like kind of staying out of it, very
very
much
quiet.
reacting instead of like kind of putting herself in the middle. Uh, I also think she's been doing a really good job of kind of separating herself from Devens's like his what he did this week and like what he's
Mhm.
doing. Like it doesn't really seem like D is connected. And I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I'm glad she's doing that because we've kind of called it out that people might lump Devens and D together. And I think the
Yeah.
fact that like at the nomination ceremony she stayed completely quiet. She didn't try to defend Angela or Devens or anything like that. She just kind of act surprised just like everyone else. I think was a good thing for her.
Yeah, I think that her being able to distance herself this week from Devens and his nominations has been really great for her, been able to take a step back and just work on her social game. I haven't heard as many people talk about their fear about her as much, so I think that she's maybe, the lowest on this list of 3 vets.
All right, number 2, we got Devens. Surprisingly high from like the crazy week that he's had, but I do
Yep,
think that it's a good position. Like I just think it's kind of like like what do we say? Like he's not playing for longevity; he's playing for today.
yep.
So this week he's in a great position. Next week, the wrong person wins. I can see them trying to get back at him for the things that he did this week. So for this week, I think he's a number 2. I don't necessarily think he made any wrong decisions. I don't think they're just smart for the long term.
He is electing to live his life in chaos, right out of the
Crazy.
gate, right as the game starts. Yeah, he blew up the house, exposed where everybody stands. Everybody knows where he stands now. Yeah, I don't know how many weeks Devens is gonna be in Big Brother. Maybe he doesn't wanna make it to jury. Maybe he is
Yeah.
happy with just playing half the game and then going home back to his family.
Yeah.
I
I'm
I don't
sure
know
they
about
paid
I
him
don't know
good
about
money to be
Chris
there.
Devens. Exactly. I don't really know what his plans are from here, but, he's given us a really, really fun season to watch so far.
Yeah, so far, I mean, very dynamic week for week 2
Mhm.
because of Devens.
Yeah,
But we say because of Devens, but in reality, is it be more because of our number 1 here,
true.
Angela, who kind of was the bug in his ear, who really redirected his plans completely. Like he
Yeah.
wants to target Melody, and she's like, "No, let's backdoor Rome." let Angela make the nomination ceremony basically about Jason, how Jason wronged her,
Mm-hmm.
and very publicly, like, Jason, which again could be good or bad. I think maybe for now it's good, but long term bad. Jason basically said, like, good job, Angela, as if it was her HOH.
Mm-hmm.
To just show, like, Angela is kind of in control, at least for right now. I could only imagine if she got the power that she almost got, where she would be. But I guess we'll never know.
I think that her winning that first vote is also so big too, because like I was saying earlier, she won't be voted the next 5 weeks. So that kind of takes a little bit of a target off of her. People can say, well, you know that she won't get an advantage. So it's, just another reason to keep her in the game. So yeah, she's like totally at the top of this pyramid. She is our, HOH assistant, telling the HOH what to do. She's running it all in an egg costume. She is, Vince 2.0, running around just as paranoid, cutting deals, having a great week.
I mean, Vince also ran a lot of HOHs that weren't his, so
Yeah,
yeah, I could see it.
parallels.
Well, that's pretty much it that we have for this episode. We'll see what happens. I think, Jason, you better fucking win that blockbuster, or make sure Rome doesn't win. Otherwise, you in danger, girl. Thank you all for listening as always, and we will see you after the second eviction of the summer. Bye.
Your typical podcast. Your typical podcast.